Mrs. Gu, dinner is ready. Butler, please go inform her. She left the day you took Miss Gu on that trip. I thought she was looking for you, Mr. Gu. I am Serena Shen. Wife to Kyle Gu, the wealthiest man in Riverside City. In his eyes, I'm not even worthy furniture. 7 years of marriage. And he celebrated 7 birthdays with the one that got away. He's taken her to 12 different countries. Bought her a $30 million yacht, a Parisian apartment. And more designer bags than I can count. And what do I get? A cheap white dress he pointed at on a whim. Because she said the color would look good on my skin. He couldn't be bothered to return it, so he tossed it my way. Today is our 7th wedding anniversary. I made the only dish he ever complimented, braised pork belly. Lit the sandalwood incense he once said smelled nice. Put on that white dress he pointed at in the mall 3 years ago. I waited from 4 in the afternoon until 8 at night. Reheated the pork 3 times. Burned through 7 sticks of incense. 8:03 p.m. My phone lit up. Not a message from him. A screenshot from his assistant's social media. In the photo, Kyle has his arm around Lena Gu's waist, standing on the yacht's deck. The sunset shatters into a million golden shards behind them. The sea breeze lifts Lena's long hair. She's smiling like a rose in full bloom. And Kyle is looking down at her with a look in his eyes. I know that look all too well. So well it feels like a fist is squeezing my heart. That look. He has never once given it to me. The caption? Just 2 words, Sonia. I stared at that photo for a solid 10 minutes. Then, I put my phone down, dumped the braised pork. Straight into the trash. The sauce splattered on my white dress. Blooming into dark red stains, shockingly vivid. Uncle Joe, the butler, stood in the kitchen doorway, asking timidly, Mrs. Gu, will the master be coming home? I shook my head. My voice sounded so calm, even I didn't recognize it. He's not coming back. I went upstairs and started packing. When I opened the walk-in closet, my hand froze. This closet is neatly divided into 2 halves. The left side is his, filled with custom-tailored suits. Limited edition sneakers, ties arranged by color, shoes. Polished to a mirror shine. The right side is mine. A few plain kipayos, 1 white dress, a pair of flats. Empty. Just like my heart. 7 years. I opened the bottom drawer of the wardrobe. Pulled out a manila envelope. 3 months ago. I brought him soup, knocked over his files. When I bent down to pick them up, I saw this. Inside was an asset notarization document. Dated 3 days before our wedding. It clearly stated, all premarital assets belong solely to Kyle Gu. Postmarital assets are split 9-1. He gets 9. I get 1. My hands started shaking. Not about the money. It's because he never trusted me. Not once. From day 1, he drew a line. A clear, unbreakable line. I'm Mrs. Gu. That's all I am. A trophy wife. A title. A tool to keep his family off his back. The one he's really loved since they were 14? Lena Gu. I slipped the document back into the envelope, hid it. Then I sat at the vanity. I just sat there. I sat there, staring at nothing. I picked up my phone, hit record. The woman in the frame. She's in a white dress. No tears. No anger. No expression at all. That calmness. It scared even me. Kyle Gu. 7 years. I started, my voice a whisper. So soft, like a feather hitting the floor. For 7 years. I sent you 3,652 messages. You replied to less than 100. In 7 years. You celebrated 7 birthdays with Lena. You don't even know when mine is. For 7 years. You took her to 12 different countries. We never even left the city together. I paused. Looked down at the grease stain on my skirt. And suddenly, I laughed. Today is our 7th wedding anniversary. I made your favorite, braised pork belly. Lit the sandalwood incense you like. Wore the white dress you complimented once. And then, I got a screenshot from your assistant. A post from your socials. You and Lena, on a yacht in Sonia. Kyle. I don't hate you. I just realized something. These 7 years. I didn't love you. I loved the man I imagined you to be. But that man never existed. So, I'm done waiting. I stopped the recording. Sent the video. Then, I stood up. Took one last look. At this room I've lived in for 7 years. On the nightstand, our wedding photo. I'm smiling so brightly in it. His eyes are looking somewhere off camera. That day, the photographer kept telling the groom to look here. He never did. I found out later. Lena was standing right behind the photographer. He was looking at her. Even during our wedding photos, he was looking at her. I took that photo and slammed it face down on the nightstand. Heading downstairs, Uncle Joe stopped me. He's been the butler here for 15 years. His hair's mostly gray now. His eyes were red. Voice cracking. Mrs. Gu, you're Uncle Joe. I handed him my car keys. Thank you for everything. Mrs. Gu, where are you going? I dragged my suitcase to the door. Turned back and gave him a smile. That smile, I think, must have looked okay, because I saw Uncle Joe's eyes well up. My eyes just welled up. Tell Kalgu he's free. I slid into that white Maserati and started the engine. The car left Gu Estate. I checked the mirror. That sprawling mansion grew smaller and smaller, fading away like a 7-year dream. Nothing was left. When I merged onto the highway, the sky was pitch black. My phone lit up. A message from the lawyer, Miss Shen, the divorce papers are ready. Need your signature. I typed back one word. Good. Then I dialed another number. It rang twice. A man's voice answered. Deep, pleasant, carrying a warmth that felt safe. Sis? Lucas Liu. I stared at the highway lit by my headlights. My voice scattered in the wind. You once said, if I ever needed to leave, I could come to you. A beat of silence on the line. Where are you? His voice suddenly tightened. Like a string pulled to its limit. I'll come get you. Don't. I'm already on the road. Serena Shen. He used my full name, voice pained. You're crying. I touched my face. It was wet. Yet I was smiling. No, the wind's just strong. He didn't speak again, but I heard the sound of car keys being grabbed. Then, the hurried clack of dress shoes on pavement. Sis. Just keep driving forward. His voice was soft, so soft. He whispered, afraid to disturb. I'll wait at the end. After hanging up, I cranked the music to full volume. The highway lamps streaked past on either side, like a river of flowing light. I was swimming upstream in that river. Ahead was darkness, but also dawn. My phone buzzed again. A text from Uncle Joe. Madam, Mr. Gu is back. He's looking for you. I didn't reply. A minute later, another, Madam. Mr. Gu has turned the estate upside down. He's unhinged. I stared at the message, my finger hovering over the screen. Frozen for a long moment. Then I powered it off. Kalgu. What good is your madness now? I endured for 7 years. You've only lost it for 7 minutes. The car sped down the highway, all through the night. At daybreak, I reached Seaside City. The exact opposite direction from Riverside City. If the Gu family lived atop a northern mountain, then Seaside City was on the southern coast. One high and mighty, the other grounded. Lucas Liu was waiting at the toll booth, leaning against a black Range Rover. He wore a simple white shirt, sleeves rolled to his elbows. The sea breeze tousled the hair falling across his forehead. Seeing my car, he strode over quickly, his steps long, charged with a long-suppressed urgency. I rolled down the window. Sis. He bent down, looking at me, dark circles under his eyes. He looks like he hasn't slept all night. You drove for 8 hours. There's clear concern in his voice, but no blame. He never blames me. There was some traffic, I say. He pulls the door. Get out. I exit, legs weak. 8 hours. My whole body stiff. Lucas Liu steadies my arm. His hand is very steady. The warmth comes through his shirt sleeve. That warmth makes my eyes suddenly sting. Are you hungry? You're eating anyway. He bundles me into the passenger seat. He bends down and buckles my seatbelt for me. The motion is so natural, like he's done it 1,000 times. I had someone prepare breakfast. The car starts moving again, driving along the coastline towards the city. I lean back in the seat, Riverside's ocean differs from Sonia's. Sonia's ocean is blue, pretty as a postcard. Riverside City's ocean is a grayish blue, with its briny wind and churning waves. But I think it feels more real. Lawyer settled? Lucas asks. I nod. The divorce papers are already drafted. And the assets? I don't want them. Lucas's fingers tap twice on the steering wheel. The rhythm is slow, like he's suppressing some emotion. After a moment, he speaks. His voice isn't loud, but every word is pronounced clearly. Serena, 7 years with him. You deserve it. I look at him. Lucas is younger. 28 this year. But when he says this, his tone is as mature as a parent's. He took over the Liu family's shipping business at 18. 6 years to top Southeast Asia routes. In business, Lucas Liu is a shark that never lets go once it bites. But in front of me, he's always the boy who calls me Serena. I met him 3 years ago, at that charity gala. Kalgu showed up with Lena Gu again. I was standing alone in a corner, sipping champagne. Lucas Liu walked over with a glass of juice, handed it to me. Serena, your smile is worse than a frown. I was stunned. If you don't feel like smiling, don't. It's not like anyone's paying you for it. That was the first time in 3 years someone saw through my facade. I found out later he was the youngest son of the Liu family. Liu Jinting's son, heir to the shipping empire. His name is Lucas Liu. His mother chose it. It means a boat upon the Huai River. His mother is from Jiangnan. After marrying into Riverside City, she never returned home. He said, so I have to be good to her. She gave up an entire river for my dad. At that moment, I suddenly wanted to cry. Some truly understand sacrifice. The place Lucas arranged for me in Riverside City. It's a standalone villa by the sea. Open the window, and you can see the beach and the waves. He had people prepare clothes, skincare, a few books, and even a bouquet of gardenias, placed in a glass vase on the nightstand. I picked up the bouquet and smelled it. Tears started falling without warning. What's wrong? Lucas Liu walked over from behind, his voice tense. Gardenias, gardenias. I sniffled. My mom's favorite flower when she was alive. He didn't say anything, just gently placed a box of tissues by my hand. The second day I settled in Riverside City. I started working on 3 things. First, gathering evidence. Every single cent Kalgu spent on Lena Gu over 7 years is documented. The Ocean View Villa in Sanya. The apartment in Paris's 7th arrondissement, that yacht at the marina. Countless luxury items, Cartier rings, Hermes bags, Van necklaces. It's all marital property. And Lena Gu's status? Not wife. Mistress. I hired the best divorce lawyer in Riverside City. A woman in her 40s, surname Zhou, short hair. Gold-rimmed glasses, sharp and efficient. After reviewing my documents, lawyer Zhou pushed up her glasses. Her expression was, interesting. Miss Shen, this evidence is enough to get you 70% of the marital assets. I don't want 70%. Lawyer Zhou looked up. I want it all, I said. She paused. Then a faint smile touched her lips. I've seen that smile before. It's the thrill of a hunter spotting prey. Also, I continued. I want 15% of the Gu Corporation's shares. Lawyer Zhou's pen stopped. Mr. Gu's deathbed gift to the eldest grandson's wife. My voice was calm. Back then, Kalgu thought I was just a trophy wife. He never even told me about these shares. It was the Gu family matriarch. Secretly gave me the transfer papers. She said, this is your security. If that worthless scoundrel ever wrongs you, these shares will ensure you never want for anything. I've held on to them. Never touched them. Now it's time. Second thing. Transfer all assets in my name. In 7 years of marriage. My dowry from the Shen family, plus the properties and stocks. The Gu matriarch gave me privately, it's a significant sum. All of it is my premarital property. Kalgu can't touch a single cent. I hired a financial advisory team. In 3 days, we transferred all these assets into a newly established foundation. The foundation's name is Qingzhou. Clarity's Qing, both Zhou. Third thing, and this is the nastiest. I dug into Lena's background. It's laughable, really. After 7 years of marriage to Kyle, it never even occurred to me to look into Lena. Probably because, deep down, I thought, what would be the point? He loves her. That was the obvious truth. But just because I didn't fight for him, doesn't mean I can't. Lucas's people took less than 3 days to dig up every last detail of Lena's past. The day the file landed on my desk, I pored over it for a whole afternoon. When I finished, I leaned back on the sofa and suddenly started laughing. Lena, you've played the one that got away for years. And it was all an act. Page 1. A copy of a birth certificate. Lena Gu. Her real name is Linda Lin, born in a tiny village in the countryside. Her parents weren't the Gu family's driver and maid. They were farmers. Page 2. A set of plastic surgery records. At 19, Lena got her entire face done. The cost was $250,000, paid from an account under Kyle Gu's name. Meaning? That face he's been obsessing over was carved, piece by piece, with his own money. Page 3, a medical record. It clearly states, congenital heart disease. Cured. The surgery was when she was 16. The $30,000 cost was covered by the local Red Cross. There was never any weak heart or can't handle stress. Her heart condition was fixed years ago. All this time, all that fragility she put on, all those sudden episodes, were just a performance for Kyle. Page 4. A bank transfer record. She sends $20,000 monthly to Wang Jiangwo. The memo says living expenses. Who is Wang Jiangwo? Her ex-boyfriend. They're still in touch. The texts are so cringy I could barely read them. Page 5. A screenshot of a chat log. It's between her and her best friend. Her friend asks, Lena, Kyle treats you so well. Can't you just be a little genuine with him? Her reply? Genuine? He's just my meal ticket. Once I've bled him dry, I'm out of here. Who do you like? My Jiangwo, of course. Too bad he's broke. He'll just have to wait. I went through each piece of evidence, one by one. Then, I picked up the phone and called lawyer Zhou. Zhou, I need you to send a copy of this file to Kyle Gu. Express delivery. I want it there by this afternoon. There was a 2-second silence on the other end of the line. He made me laugh, Miss Shen. I'm starting to think I'm not your lawyer. I'm just your tool. I laughed and hung up. 3 days later, Lena Gu arrived. 2 bodyguards were trailing behind her, plus a guy lugging a camera on his shoulder. That day, I happened to be at the Lu Corporation headquarters, discussing the lawsuit details with attorney Zhou. Lucas Liu had cleared out the top-floor conference room for us. Beyond the windows lay Riverside City's ocean. The door swung open just as I was signing a document. Lena marched in on those 10-centimeter stilettos. She was decked out in a fire-engine red power suit dress. Her hair was pulled up in a severe bun, makeup flawless and precise. She'd clearly dressed to impress for this. But even so, a flicker of panic was still hiding behind her eyes. Like a cat that just got its tail stepped on. Serena Shen. At the entrance, her voice shattered glass. You think hiding out in Riverside City makes you untouchable? Attorney Zhou shot me a glance, his eyes asking a silent question. I set down my pen and leaned back in the chair. Slowly, deliberately, I took a sip of my tea. Ms. Lin, is there something you need? How dare you ask me that? She stormed further into the room on those heels, each step. You investigated me. Huh? Yes, I did. She was stunned. Such a straightforward admission. She faltered for a second. What right? The right? You spent his money. I placed the teacup down, my voice calm. But every word crystal clear. 46 million. Half of that money is legally mine. I have every right to know where my money went. Lena's face contorted for a split second. Then, she suddenly laughed. It was a smug, triumphant laugh, dripping with a victor's superiority. Like a cat finally baring its fangs. Like Serena Shen, do you know Why Kyle married you in the first place? I know, I said. Because his grandfather forced him. Her smug smile froze. Then do you know? She stepped closer, whispering. So low only the two of us could hear. The night before your wedding, Kyle knelt at my door all night. I know. He told me to wait for the inheritance. Then he'd divorce you. We'd take the money and disappear together. MHM. I nodded, my expression utterly unchanged. That's exactly what he told me. Lena's smile finally slipped completely. She probably came here to watch me break. To see me crumble, weep, scream at the truth. But I didn't. Because I already broke. That night in our 3rd year of marriage. When Kyle grabbed my wrist and cried out Ruoyan's name. I had already cried every last tear I had. Ms. Lin. Did you come just to tell me what I know? Her gaze changed, turning vicious and venomous. Like a snake finally flicking its tongue. I came to warn you. She leaned in close, her nails painted a bright crimson. They gleamed coldly under the light. Stay away from Kyle. He's mine. Oh, I laughed. Then why don't you go tell him that? He's the one who came to me. You, right, I cut her off. Picking up a folder from the desk. Since you're here, there's something I'd like you to see. I slid the folder towards her. Lena Gu shot me a suspicious look and opened it. Her face drained of all color in 3 seconds flat. That wasn't shock, it was terror. Stripped naked, thrown into the street. How did you get these? Does it matter? I stood up. Walked around the desk to face her. Miss Linda Lin. When those 3 words left my lips, her body swayed, as if all the strength had been sucked out of her. Copies of this evidence are already on their way to Kalgu. I looked at her, my voice light and casual, like I was saying. Nice weather. Overnight delivery, this afternoon. You wouldn't dare. I'd dare a lot more. I took a step closer. My high heels clicked on the floor, each sound like a countdown. Like sending these plastic surgery records to the press. The one that got away of the Gu Corporation CEO. Turns out it's just a fake, manufactured face. How's that for a headline? Her lips began to tremble. Or maybe. I picked up the medical file. Take this real medical history. Edit it with your fake illness footage. Play it online. Here, the chat logs. What will Brother Jangwo say? All the color drained from Lena Gu's face. Her mouth opened. But no sound came out, like a fish gasping on the shore. Didn't you come here to watch me break down? I tilted my head. Why fall apart first? You're insane. I'm not. I settled back into my chair, picked up my teacup. I'm just done playing games. I took a sip of tea, wetting my throat, then continued. Miss Lin, I'm giving you 3 days. Within 3 days, return every single asset you took from Kalgu. The houses, the cash, all of it. I'll have lawyer Zhou draw up a list for you. Why should I? Her voice rose shrill. Because all this is marital property. I held her gaze. Because I am Kalgu's legal wife. I have the right to reclaim every single cent you've spent. If you don't return it, I'll send the evidence to your precious Wang Jangwo. And maybe a copy to his parents, his relatives, his friends, his co-workers. Your choice. In this conference room. The room fell silent, then Lena screamed. Serena Shen, you bitch. She lunged at me. 10 perfectly manicured fingers came clawing for my face. I didn't move. Because I didn't need to. A hand reached out from behind her. It clamped around her wrist with deadly precision. The force of it wrenched her entire body sideways. Lena shrieked, whipping her head around. She saw Lucas Liu. He had appeared behind her at some point, wearing a simple black cashmere sweater. It made him look like a blade, freshly drawn from its sheath. His eyes were cold enough to freeze hell. It wasn't anger. It was something far more terrifying than anger. It was murderous intent. Ms. Lin, Lucas's voice was soft. So soft it was almost like he was soothing a misbehaving child. Laying hands on my people. Tired of living? He released her. Lena stumbled back several steps. Her stiletto skidded. Escort her out, Lucas said. Immediately, 2 security guards in black uniforms appeared at the door. Wait. Everyone's eyes snapped to me. I walked over to the still recording camera. The cameraman's hands were shaking, the lens wobbling violently. Did you get all that clearly? I asked the cameraman. He just nodded dumbly. Good. I smiled into the lens. The marriage. Ms. Lin, the marriage license, in 3 days. Don't forget. I switched the camera off. Lena was still screaming as the security guards dragged her out. One of her high heels had come off. Half of her updo had come undone. Her flawless makeup was now a smeared, tear-and sweat-stained mess. That delicate, fragile, pitiable Ms. Lin had finally shown her true colors. Silence. Lawyer Zhou adjusted his glasses. Expression unreadable. Miss Shen, that act. That will haunt her. I sank into my chair. A sudden, profound exhaustion washed over me. It wasn't physical tiredness. Bone-deep weariness. Lawyer Zhou, I said. This isn't about revenge. Then what is it about? I looked out the window at the vast ocean. The sunlight on the water, shattered into a million shards of gold. I just wanted everyone to see clearly. For these past 7 years, who was the liar, and who was the fool? Lucas sat down beside me. He didn't say anything. He just took the cup of cold tea in front of me. And replaced it with a hot one. Then, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a piece of candy. He pulled out a candy, placing it by the cup. A white rabbit creamy candy. The kind I loved most when I was a kid. Sis, he said you look really sharp today. I unwrapped that candy and popped it in my mouth. Sweetness melted on my tongue, so sweet I could cry. For days after Lena Gu, someone from the Gu family came. It wasn't Kyle Gu. It was the family matriarch, the old lady. Kyle Gu's own grandmother. She's 83 this year. Her hair was completely silver, and she leaned on a rosewood cane. She's the highest-ranking person in the Gu family. Even Kyle's arrogant father has to bow his head in her presence. In my 7 years at the Gu's, the old lady. The only kind one. Kyle never remembered my birthday. But she did. Every single year on that day, she'd have someone send over a bowl of longevity noodles. With a fried egg on top and a gardenia flower on the side. Serena, she said the first time she ever saw me. You're just like I was when I was young. A foolish girl. That day, the old lady didn't go to the Gu Corporation headquarters. She came straight to the hotel where I was staying. When Uncle Zhou helped her inside, I was sitting on the balcony, looking at the sea. Ma'am, Uncle Zhou's voice was choked up. The old madam has come to see you. I turned. The old lady stood in the doorway, leaning on her cane. Her silver hair was tousled by the sea breeze. She looked at me. And in her eyes was an expression I'd never seen before. Not anger. Not blame. It was guilt. The kind that's built up over a lifetime. Finally, she couldn't hold back. Child, she reached out. Come here. I walked over. The old lady grabbed my hand tightly. Her hand was bony and thin, but her grip was strong. As if she was afraid I'd run away. You've suffered. Her voice trembled. Grandma is sorry. The moment those 5 words came out, my eyes welled up. In 7 years at the Gu's, I'd heard countless I'm sorry yes. Uncle Zhou had said it. Kyle's mother had said it. Even Kyle's father, who never looked people in the eye, had said it once. But the old lady never had. The only one in the Gu family who didn't feel she owed me. Her kindness to me was real. It wasn't born out of guilt. It was genuine. Grandma, you don't owe an apology. You have. The old lady sat down, her cane thudding heavily on the floor. Back then, I forced Yenshin to marry you. I thought once you came into the family, we'd all be one. I thought with time, feelings would grow. Turns out, I was the one who hurt you. Her voice shook, eyes red. An 83-year-old woman, crying in a hotel room. I quickly poured her some water. The old lady waved it away. From a cloth bag she carried, she pulled out an envelope. The envelope was old, the paper yellowed, the corners frayed. It was clearly something that had been kept for many years. A letter your grandfather wrote to my husband. I took it and pulled out the yellowed letter inside. It was short. Only a few lines, but every single word. Grandfather's handwriting. I heard you're in a tough spot with your business. Your wife is ill. Take this. Signed, Shen heading. Below, a small note. Loan, 300,000. Year 78 of the Republic. I look up at the old lady. This money. Her voice trembles slightly. He sold the house for it. Back then, my husband's business failed. He was drowning in debt. Banks hounded us. I had cancer. No money for treatment. Your grandfather sold the Shen estate, turned it into 300,000, and gave it all to us. She takes my hand, hers shaking. Without your grandfather, Gu family would be finished. So, before my husband passed, he made me swear over and over to repay Shen family's kindness. Not just the money. We must repay with a person. I fall silent. She pulls another document from the cloth bag. This is 20% of Gu Corporation's shares. I'm stunned. The 15% I secretly gave you before. Plus this 20%. That's 35% in total. She pushes the document towards me. From now on, you're Gu Corp's largest shareholder. Her voice suddenly hardens, like an old blade. Freshly sharpened. Yenshin only holds 30%. His father has 20. The other minor shareholders combined. 15%. Serena. Right now, you hold more than the father and son combined. I stare at the share transfer agreement. Black ink on white paper. A bright red company seal. This is my compensation to you, she says. And what the Shen family rightfully deserves. The Shen estate your grandfather sold, 10 years ago. The Gu family bought it back. On the original site now stands a new building. The deed is in your name. And the 300,000 your grandfather loaned us, adjusted for value, comes to 1.2 billion. That money, transferred to your account. Suddenly, I remember 7 years ago. Mother hesitated with the contract. Marrying into Gu family, you'd suffer. She knew the truth. This debt of gratitude was too heavy. Heavy enough to trade. Grandmother, I breathe. I can't accept any of this. The old lady's eyes widen. Child, a debt is a debt. A marriage is a marriage. I meet her gaze. Just because grandfather helped the Gu family, I won't endure humiliation. And just because the Gu family repays this debt, then I'm supposed to just forgive Kalgu? The old lady fell silent. So what do you want? I stood up and walked to the window. The sea shimmered gold red at sunset. It's beautiful. I want the shares, not as compensation, but as my rightful due. I want the old estate too. Grandfather sold it. It should have been Shen family's. The 1.2 billion? I don't want a single cent of it. I turned around. I looked at the old lady. Grandma, these 7 years can't be measured with money. What Kalgu owes me isn't money. It's 7 years of my life. The old lady was quiet for a long time. Then, she leaned on her cane, stood, and trembled toward me. Serena. She reached out and touched my face. Her hands were rough yet warm, etched with the marks of time. Do you know what I always loved most about you? I shook my head. You're just like your grandfather. Stubborn as hell. She smiled. The wrinkles at the corners of her eyes gathered together, like a flower that had bloomed for a lifetime. Child. From now on, you'll always be my granddaughter. The doors of the Gu family will always be open for you. As she was leaving, the old lady paused at the doorway. Oh, right. That boy, Yenshin, these past few days. Grandma, I cut her off. Let's not talk about him. She sighed and gave a small nod. Uncle Zhou helped her out the door. In the hallway, her cane thudded on the carpet. Once. Like a heartbeat. Or like a countdown. I stood there, looking down at the share transfer agreement, 35%. From today, the largest shareholder of Gu Corporation is me, not Mrs. Gu. It's Serena Shen. My phone buzzed. A message from Lucas Liu. Sis. I heard the Gu matriarch went to see you. Need me to come over? I replied with one word. No. Then, I sent another message. Lucas, help me schedule a meeting with the Gu Corporation board. Next Monday. I'm attending. The phone screen lit up. His reply was just 4 words. Yes, ma'am, sis. Followed by a tiny heart emoji. Looking at that heart, I felt Riverside City's sea breeze. Wasn't quite so cold anymore. Late December. The Gu Corporation annual general meeting of shareholders was convened at Riverside City International Convention Center. This was my first time attending a meeting as the largest shareholder since acquiring the 35% stake. The meeting was scheduled for 10 a.m. I arrived at 9:30. Dressed in a dark emerald green velvet suit. My hair in a low chignon, my lips painted with a bold red. I wore the pearl earrings my mother left me. My wrists were bare. I didn't need any other adornments. 35% of the company's shares. That was the most expensive accessory I could wear. Lucas Liu saw me to the entrance of the venue. Sis. He straightened my collar, his movements gentle and natural. Like he'd done it 1,000 times before. Nervous? Not nervous. Good. He smiled. That smile looked especially warm under the winter sun. I'll be waiting outside. You're not coming in? Today is your stage. He said, his eyes shining. I won't steal the spotlight. The conference room was packed. Shareholders, big and small, of the Gu Corporation, board members. The executive team, nearly 100 people in total. Both sides of the long, rectangular table were filled to capacity. Everyone was suited up, expressions all over the place. When I walked in, everyone stood up. Not for me. For the 35% in my hand. At the head of the table, one seat was empty. The chairman's seat. Kalgu sat in the first seat on the left. Seeing me enter, his body visibly stiffened. Like someone had hit pause. I didn't look at him. I walked straight to that empty seat, but I didn't sit down. Everyone. I spoke standing, my voice soft but clear. Today's shareholder meeting has only one agenda item. The selection of the Gu Corporation's next chairman. The room. Dead silence. The highest shareholder nominates the chairman. Highest shareholder nominates chairman. Currently, my shareholding stands at 35%. Making me the single largest shareholder. Therefore, Kyle's father, the current chairman, Gu Zhenghong, stood up. His face was awful, like he'd swallowed something rotten. Serena Shen, what is the meaning of this? Mr. Gu, I looked at him. My voice is calm as stagnant water. My meaning is perfectly clear. The Gu Corporation needs a new chairman. You, Dad. Kyle suddenly spoke. Sit down. Gu Zhenghong froze. Kyle stood up, looking at me. In his eyes, there was something I'd never seen before. Not anger. Not coldness. Exhaustion. Pure, bone deep exhaustion. The exhaustion of a man finally admitting defeat. Serena. He said, his voice low. You want to be chairman? No, I said. I nominate Lucas Liu to be the new chairman of the Gu Corporation. Instantly, the room erupted. Lucas Liu? He's from the Liu family. How can an outsider run the Gu Corporation? This is against the rules. Voices rose and fell. Like a pot boiling over. I waited for them to finish. Then I spoke. Lucas Liu, current CEO of the Liu Group. He has led the Liu Group for 6 years, growing their shipping division to become the market leader on Southeast Asian routes. Last year, the Liu Group's net profit grew by 47%. Gu Corp net profit down 12%. I scanned the room. Wherever my gaze landed, the noise died down. He is not an outsider. He is the most qualified person. I object. Gu Zhenghong slammed the table. Lucas's last name is Liu. Gu Corporation belongs to the Gu family. We can never let an outsider take control. Old Mr. Gu. Have you forgotten something? What? 35 years ago. Gu Corp was saved by an outsider surnamed Shen. He sold his ancestral home. Gu Zhenghong was speechless. That man was my grandfather. I enunciated every single word clearly. Like hammering nails into wood, one by one. Gu Corp was never solely the Gu family's. Without the Shens, Gu Corp would have ended 35 years ago. Was something the old Gu patriarch remembered his entire life. That arranged the marriage. That's why Mrs. Gu gave me shares. I looked at his livid face and continued. Now, anyone I nominate with these shares is fully qualified to sit in that position. The meeting room fell, dead silent. Gu Xinghong's lips trembled. He couldn't refute me. I spoke the truth. The truth written in black and white in the Gu family precepts. The truth his grandfather emphasized on his deathbed. Cao Gu spoke up. I agree. Everyone turned to look at him. Gu Xinghong's eyes bulged. Yan Shen. What? I agree with Serena Shen's nomination. Cao Gu stood up. His voice was calm. Unnaturally calm. Lucas Liu is indeed a more suitable candidate than I am. Under me, Gu Corp's performance declined. That is my responsibility. I am willing to step down as CEO. Yan Shen. Gu Xinghong's voice cracked. Have you lost your mind? I haven't. Cao Gu looked at his father. His voice carried a weariness I'd never heard before. Dad. I've just finally come to my senses. He turned to me. There was something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Not resentment. Not guilt. It was release. Finally letting go. Serena. I'll repay you, with Gu Corp. You call the shots at Gu Corporation. After he finished speaking, he sat back down. The meeting room remained quiet for a long time. Then, someone started clapping. A minor shareholder. Then a second. Then a third. Finally, the entire meeting room erupted in applause. That applause wasn't for me. It was for a man who had finally admitted defeat. The voting result was a foregone conclusion. Lucas Liu received 62% of the votes in favor. Elected new chairman of Gu Corporation. Cao retained his position as CEO, but the person he now reports to is Lucas Liu. After the meeting adjourned, Cao Gu stopped me in the hallway. Serena. I halted. Thank you for not finishing me. Not out of softness. I said, I just believe Gu Corporation still needs you. He gave a bitter smile. Still the same, tough on the outside, but softer than anyone on the inside. I didn't speak. Serena. Can I ask you one last question? Go ahead. In these 7 years, was there even a single moment when you truly loved me? Sunlight streamed in. He'd lost much weight. His eyes were bloodshot, his tie was crooked. He would never have been like this before. Before, he would even button his shirt all the way to the top. I looked at him. This man I had spent 7 years loving. This husband, who didn't even know which room I slept in. Yes, I said. I loved you in every single moment. His eyes reddened. Until you used it all up. I turned and walked away. My high heels clicked on the marble floor, sharp and clear. 1 step. 2 steps. 3. Like drawing a period on my 7 years. Lucas Liu was waiting for me at the conference center entrance. He was leaning against his black Range Rover. The winter sun gilded his silhouette in gold. Seeing me come out, he straightened up and smiled. Sis. All done? Let's go then. He opened the car door. Taking you for some good food. I got in. He didn't start the engine. Instead, he pulled a box from the back seat. What's this? Open it. I unwrapped it. Inside was a pair of flats. White, soft leather. On the upper, a small embroidered gardenia. You've been in heels all day. Your feet must hurt. Change into these. I looked down at the shoes. Suddenly, I remembered. My wedding day 7 years ago. I wore heels the whole day. Got blisters all over my feet, could barely walk. No one noticed. I didn't even pay it much mind. But Lucas Liu noticed. He always sees the things others miss. Lucas. Why are you so good to me? He was silent for a moment. The setting sun outside the car window fell on his profile. His eyelashes were long, casting a small, fan-shaped shadow under his eyes. Sis. Do you remember the first time we met? I do. I said. You said my smile was uglier than my crying face. Actually, that wasn't the first time. I froze. The first time I saw you was at a Goo family dinner party. 3 years ago. His voice was soft. Like, telling a story from long ago. You wore a cheongsam, standing in the corner. Everyone was drinking and chatting. Only you stood there, so quiet. I watched you the whole night. He turned to look at me. Back then, I thought, this woman's eyes hold an entire ocean. But no one saw it. There was a light in his eyes. Not the light of the sunset. A different light. Brighter. Warmer. I want to see it, he said. I want to see that sea. The sunset in his eyes made me realize. Lucas Liu's eyes also held a sea. A very deep one. A very calm one. A sea that held only me. So, sister. He took my hand. His hand was warm, like the scarf my mom knitted for me that year. Like the loquat tea grandpa used to brew. Like the scent of autumn under the old tree at Shin Estate. Let me take over from now on, okay? Take over being good to you. No need to repay me or wait. He tightened his grip on my hand. I looked at him. At this man 2 years younger than me. This man who shouldered a business empire at 18. Yet when facing me, he's as careful as if he's holding something fragile. Okay. Just one word. Lucas Liu smiled. That smile was more beautiful than all the sunsets in Riverside City combined. The car left for the coast. In the rearview mirror, the Goo Corporation tower grew more and more distant. That tower held 7 years of my youth. 7 years of waiting. 7 years of a one-woman show. Now it's all left behind. Ahead is the sea. The setting sun. A man willing to bend down to change my shoes. Serena Shin, finally free to be herself. It's the rest of my life. My phone buzzed. A message from Uncle Joe. Miss. The loquats are ripe. I picked a basket for you. Left it at the gate of the Shin estate. I looked at that message. And suddenly remembered what Grandpa used to say. Chingha. Loquats are sweetest when ripe. But you have to wait. Wait for it to fall. Picked ones aren't sweet. Only the fallen ones are sweet. I never understood what that meant. Now I do. I replied with a smiley face. Grandpa. The loquat finally fell by itself. And it's sweet. The kind of sweet that's very, very sweet.